like, as I was telling Nate, Eric, and Gamebird, I was trying to kind of direct the conversation to where if they had any information, I could possibly find out, right? And you always want to try and do that, but you're not always successful. Actually, you probably rarely are successful. It actually worked out. So let me pull it up here.
Yeah, this was very interesting.
Okay, so I had a list of questions. I'm not going to go through them. It was more or less on specifics for covering the product. But I said, with the Switch 2 launching later this year, does BenQ plan to release an official firmware update for compatibility? Or will the GR10 support it out of the box? Said many of my viewers will be interested in potential Switch 2 support, so I'd love to provide them with accurate information. So again, I said, with the Switch 2 launching later this year. They replied, the Switch 2 has HDMI 2.1 output and includes an HDMI 2.1 port that supports both the Switch 2 or the Switch 1 and Switch 2. Since the Switch 2 is expected to launch in April, it would be helpful to mention in your review that it is compatible with it. So again, as I mentioned,
wait, what?
Yeah, like I just said with Switch 2 launching later this year, I didn't ask them when it's coming out or anything. They respond with the Switch 2 expecting to launch in April. It would be helpful if you mentioned this in your review. And I'm like, April, really? More or less, I was like, that's interesting. Maybe they have outdated information, or again, maybe it was originally supposed to release in April. And
that shadow drop's happening. I don't care what anybody says.
Yeah, like if anything, it just gives you more confidence that May is extremely realistic. Like that's where I'm putting my money is on May. But who knows? Maybe they know more than we do, and it is coming out.
What if it's like launching the last week of April? And I will say one thing to support this: the Nintendo Switch experience still had like 2 days of the Switch experience happening after Nintendo Switch launched. So what if like it launches right before that final Switch 2 experience in the US? Because there was still a Switch experience in the US happening after Switch launched. Now I know there's experiences happening in May, and like it is completely ridiculous to think that the same month we get the direct and all the details is also the month the damn thing's coming out. Wild to even think that.
On the bright side, though, we'd probably get off that wait list and be invited to the event.
So I'll just say this: I think they're misspeaking, and they really meant the direct, because the direct is in April, and maybe they misconstrued that for a release, and it was just the person who wrote the email made a mistake, or the other option is they do have information and they just think everyone knows, and like because behind the scenes all these companies are talking to each other, and so the person's like, oh, this is just common knowledge, and so he just throws it in the email when it's not actually common knowledge, and maybe it actually is releasing in April. Here's the thing: I'm not the one saying it's happening in April. They are the ones saying that it's expected to release in April. So Thunderstash, I'm glad you brought it up, because I now have my video for tomorrow.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Wasn't there a rumor that it was gonna shadow drop? Like, wasn't that one of the rumors like a couple weeks ago?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah,
it was something like that.
So realistically, I think May and that 2-week break between the Switch 2 experiences is maybe the first likely slot, with June being the most likely time that it launches. But who knows? Maybe BenQ is kind of like D-Brand, who just says, fuck these companies. We don't give a shit. We hear something, we're telling you. Because that's D-Brand's attitude. They don't give a shit about these companies. They're multi-billion-dollar companies. We just want to sell our products.
Well, I have more for that too.
Oh, no.
Like that makes sense. So when I had asked about the Switch compatibility, again, we have a very long email chain, but long story short, they offered to provide me a dock that has unofficial patched firmware for it to be able to run on the Nintendo Switch and on Switch too. But again, they mentioned that right out of the box, it's compatible with Switch 2 because it's HDMI 2.1. But they said the firmware is unofficial. They will not host it on their website. They don't have anything to do with it. They said you would be in charge of the Switch firmware, and you can either put it like in your description box and host it on a third-party website, or you can have people, reach out to you individually and you can give it to them. And that's why I had asked them, like, hey, more or less, like, I obviously you guys know I said I'm like totally cool with that. Like, yeah, I'll be the bearer of this firmware. Like, I think that's cool. Whatever.
So like they
Everyone's
want
got to reach out to me to get the
it's like they
firmware.
want
Cool.
it out there, but they know they can't be the ones to put it out there. Oh no.
Yeah, and so really, that's my point, guys, is that like D-Brand, like Genki, that they're not licensed. They're not a licensed third party, right? So again, if they have that attitude like D-Brand, it makes total sense
Dude, what
because
if
they have no affiliation with Nintendo in
they
that
spent
sense.
40 grand for a Switch 2 off the black market just to have someone secretly develop a firmware to make it work? But they're like, well, we can't actually put this out there because Nintendo will kill us, but someone else can do it.
Wow. Me personally, I don't think the Switch 2 is launching in April. I think May sounds good. Possibly June, but I think May actually sounds good. I know it's kind of fast. May just, to me, feels like the sweet spot. What I think they could have meant is pre-orders launch in April, like that sort of launch. Like people are going to be able to start buying the console in April. I think that's
down.
Yep. I think that is the likely truth. But
Yeah, and I gotta say, like, of everything in that email, the thing I was most excited about was HDMI 2.1 because they outright said it, and that's why I was like, "Oh, this is great." I'm like, "This hasn't been confirmed." I got on Google. I'm like checking to see. I'm like, pretty sure it hasn't, and sure enough, it hasn't. So I'm like, okay, well, that's great. And I saw the date of April. Yeah, I saw the April date, and all I thought was like, well, I mean, I'm not sure about that, but if it happens, great. But I'm not going to hold my breath.
Yeah, right.
The best part about it was looking at the email was just how casual they just threw that out there. It was just so like you weren't prying for anything. You just asked a couple random questions. And like, oh yeah, well, since the console launches in April, A, B, C, D. It was just so casual the way they threw it out there.
That's why I said it sounded like it's just something they just assumed everyone knew. It's like, well, wait a second. The only rumors we had was May or June. Where is this coming from? You might as well just keep talking about, okay, I will gladly do Nintendo Switch 2, I'll make sure to bring it up and all of that. And, I think your product's priced pretty fair compared to whatever Switch 2 is going to be costing. Like, oh, yeah. And then they just drop the price of Switch 2 in the next email.
Right.
Like, oh, wait a second. What is happening? And then April 2nd comes and the price is exactly what they said. And you're like, oh, no. Get to the end of the direct. Launching this April, later this month. We're like, thank you. Nintendo will be coming to the door.
I was talking to my lady, Michaela, about it. And I was like, I don't know if it was on your podcast, Josh, or if it was on yours, John. But I know I was mentioning how Apple does things, and I had to look it up, but I think it was the latest iPhone. Apple announced it on, I think, September 9th, and they launched it. They announced it on the 9th, open pre-orders, and it was in your hands on the 19th, 10 days later. And it just goes back to like the kind of consumer we have now, where they want it right now. They wanted it yesterday. Instant gratification consumer. That's how it is now. So I'm not going to say like it can't happen in my mind, because it's like if you want to cater to the current consumer, you do the direct on the 2nd, open pre-orders, you let people go play it throughout April, and then you launch it very soon, like end of April or May. Like you capitalize on all that hype, because the longer you wait, the more the hype dies.
Let me add more fuel to the fire. I have some emails as well from accessory companies.
Ooh.
And they're reaching out already to see if I want to do some videos on their stuff.
Yeah.
And it says, in March, I'll be sending you most of the accessories currently listed on the website. March. I'm not like,
yeah.
Why would they send the accessories that early?
There's a company. I won't say their name because it's a problem. I'm probably going to end up working with them on a sponsorship. But yeah, they're sending me some products in March too. Now, obviously, they know we can't have the Switch 2 on hand to do anything with it. But why do they want it on hand then, unless Switch 2 is launching relatively soon after the products will be in my hand, so I can actually feature them, day one, right, of the system? Like you get it, and one of the things you do on your live stream or video is you put it in their they want their accessory there in that video. Now,
the micro SD Express cards are releasing the end of February, and those have not come out, and those are obviously going to be geared towards Switch 2 as well.
Yeah, we even saw that in the GameStop computers. They had them in there. Yeah.
Yep.
Listed for Switch.
A lot of things happening behind the scenes for sure.
So I think it's closer than a lot of people think.
You on the April train? Are you believing it?
I'm believing on the shadow drop. I think if anybody can do it, it's Nintendo.
I do agree with that part of it.
Could you imagine if they shadow dropped it? Like,
and people are not fun. People are taking all my fun away.
It's a Twitter drop. They do the Twitter drop.
Yeah.
Okay.
The only way available now on Twitter the day after.
Yeah, available at all your favorite retailers. The thing is like how could they shadow drop it and not have it leak?
It's gonna leak no matter what. It's gonna leak no matter what. Nintendo Switch 2 has leaked more than like any other console.
I'm not saying the system won't leak. I'm saying everyone would know it's a shadow drop because it would appear in the computer systems with a date, and they would have the Switch 2s in their damn store.
It's all part of the plan. All part of the plan.
They got that panty party bundle ready to go day one.
If they announced at the end of the April 2nd Direct, Switch 2 is available right now at your local retail store. Can you imagine the millions running to the retail stores? That's how Nintendo's fighting scalpers, everyone. There is no pre-orders.
Oh, if they do, they're not going to get a Switch 2. No one's going to get there if they run.
Well, actually, it's probably worse to do it that way, because I think scalpers will be able to do it easier, because like that's all they do, right? They
online orders. Look, even if it's available right now, online orders are still going to get scalped to hell. But it would just be the fact that in person, look, bots can't go buy it in person.
Yeah.
You got to go. You got to physically go to get it.
But people would have to take off work, and like
people have already taken off work for April 2nd. It's getting wild.
What day of the week is that?
Yeah, people are going to be parked outside their local GameStops and Targets and Best Buys watching.
Well, if it does leak,
that they're ready to get out of their car and pre-order.
That's what I was going to say. I'll be at Best Buy.
I've already heard a lot of people saying like, "Hey, man, I'm going to watch your live reaction to all this. I'm going to be literally first in line at GameStop. I'm camping overnight to make sure I get a pre-order in." And I'm like, dude, this is wild. People are camping when they don't even know.
You should do it. It's content. You should do it. It's that's what that guy. Who was the guy that waited out in New York?
CDC or something, or C and D.
Alex,
there you go.
But no, so like obviously I'm not going to be able to be parked outside the store because I got a show to do. But I had thought, I'm like, do I ask my wife to go park her ass out there?
That's
because here's the
spousal
thing,
abuse.
she'd be willing to do it. She would be willing. She probably won't go out there like many hours early, but she'd be willing to go out there like maybe an hour before the show starts, just in case pre-orders drop right when it ends, or even during the show. She'd be willing to do that. But you know how pissed she would be if she wasted her time there and pre-orders didn't go live that day? I would never live it down.
Pre-orders went live. Pre-orders went live in when they did the January reveal back for the Switch 1. Like they went live that night.
Yeah.
Wait, isn't it early morning this time around? Didn't they give us the time?
Yeah, we know it's at God.
Oh yeah, it's 9 a.m.
Eastern, 6 a.m. Pacific. So
yeah, we're starting the live stream real early.
I want to be live at 6
I think you should just live stream at GameStop. I mean, why not just nip it in the bud?
GameStop gets really mad at me. They let me do it
in your car.
I know I tried, so I've done that before, but here's the problem. I'm trying to live stream react to the damn thing, and then I'm relying on my phone's internet to do all that. I'm not doing that. That'll be a really bad show.
Get a hotspot.
Yeah, it would be really bad. I'm not doing that. I have done live streams where I'm picking up systems and pre-ordering systems, absolutely. But those were just straight up, just off my phone. I'm not also trying to restream an event at you and react to it, kind of thing. Yeah, I'm willing to do that. And the day, assuming I get a pre-order at GameStop or something like that, yeah, I'm gonna go for the midnight launch. Because it might be the last midnight launch of a console ever.
Yeah.
I don't know if GameStop's going to be around next time for Nintendo. So I'm definitely going to try to get it at GameStop so I could do the midnight launch. Because that's maybe the only fun, like one of the most fun things about still caring about GameStops is the midnight launch of a new platform. Because it's just a gathering of hundreds of people and it's so fun and exciting. They usually plan like little events around it and food and, they try to have fun. You get little bonus pre-order items that you didn't even know you were going to get just because it's just fun.
I used to play live music at my GameStop, and we'd also set up a small fire pit. I'm not even joking. In the parking lot, there'd be a fire pit. I'd set up my amp and guitar and like sing live, like do live music for a couple hours.
We did a lot of that. Every time, actually since the Wii, I brought a projector and a generator, and we'll set it up on Best Buy's wall. They've even let us plug it in one time. It was for the Wii. They gave us an extension cable and let us plug it in inside, so we didn't have to use the generator while they were open, which was really nice because it was nice to be able to save that for the nighttime. So much fun though. Camping out is a blast. When we camped out for Wii, we camped out Friday, Saturday, got the Wii on Sunday.
Yeah. And here's the thing. I will tell you this, guys. If I don't get, because I got to get 5 total pre-orders. If I don't get all 5, or I don't get any, guarantee I will be camping out at Walmart to try to get like the 2 systems that they'll have that they'll sell in store that weren't pre-ordered. Because they always do. Walmart's always got like 2 to 5 day one. That if you camp out and you're like the first 2 people in line, you will get it. So it sucks though, because last time I did that was for Wii U. That's how I got Wii U day one. I didn't have a pre-order, so I camped out in Walmart because it was 24 hours. So I showed up like 8 hours early. So I'm like, no one's talking about Wii U. I don't think I need to actually be there like a whole day early. Nope, no one even knew what was going on. I walked to the electronics section. I'm like, hey, so where do I stand or sit? What do you mean? Wii U. It launches at midnight. Where do you want me to sit? Do you want me to wait outside the store? Oh, no. Oh, yeah. What? Wait, what? We got a manager. Oh, yeah, that Nintendo system's launching at midnight. This guy's going to wait to try to get one of the ones we have available to buy. So, yeah, you can just stand right here because it's out of the way. I'm like, oh. And then literally Everyone kept coming to electronics for 8 straight hours. I'd just be like, what are you doing? I'm waiting for Nintendo's new system. It launches at midnight. I created a line. People were like, wait a second, Nintendo's got a new Wii? Yeah, it's coming. Get in line, baby. They only had 2. They had a white one and a black one, and that was it. And I got to choose which one. And I'm like, well, I'll take the black one. It's got the most storage, right? Turns out the white one would have been the right choice. That was the one that became valuable because it got discontinued so damn fast.
We were first in line for the Wii, obviously, because we got there on Friday. And obviously, as the day went on, or the night, and then into Saturday, the line started forming. And so everyone went up to my cousin Jim and I to like operate the line as well. And so we got a Sharpie and put numbers on everyone's hand for where they are in line so they could actually like get out of line and, you know, go walk to the gas station to go to the bathroom and like, you know, try and take a little freshen up bath in the bathrooms there. But dude, it was so much fun. Like, if you have the opportunity to do it, I say this to everyone in chat too, you should do it because again, who knows how much longer these things will be going on for. You know, sadly, the PS5 we couldn't camp out for because of COVID.
But,
obviously the Xbox as well, but the first time I camped out for a console was the GameCube in high school, and I have pictures from it still at our local Best Buy, and it's like one of my fondest gaming memories is actually camping out for consoles. So if you've never done it and you have the means to do it, and especially if you have to, like if you can't get a pre-order, go do it. It's so much fun. You meet a lot of like-minded people that are just super hyped, but in person.
So,
dude, I couldn't agree more. Real quick, I've only camped out for one console in my life with one of my really good friends. We camped out in our mall for the Wii, and we were. I was second in line. My buddy was third in line, and they had like Cinnabon showed up super early and was passing out Cinnabon samples. Yeah, and there was a bunch of like cool stuff going on. And it was a thrilling and horrifying experience. My when I went to check out, the bank froze my card. It like triggered is this a legit purchase?
My heart
froze my card. Dude, I panicked and I said, please give me 5 minutes to call my bank, get cash out of the ATM and get this. Please do not sell this console. And they're like, okay, we'll hold it for 20 minutes max. I'm like, thank you. I run to the ATM. The ATM sucks up my card and won't give it back. Yeah, I can't get heart's going crazy. I'm panicking. I need a change of pants at this point. I'm able to get a worker to assist and get my card back, but it was like a roller coaster of like hype, panic, hype. And then by the time I got back home, I was so stoked to play Twilight Princess. But all the emotions and adrenaline, I ended up passing out. Like I just like completely passed out when I got home. I was emotionally drained, but it was an epic night to say the least.
So what you're saying is, if you do it this time, Gamebird, because you didn't get a pre-order in and you're panicking, bring cash.
Yes, cash. I know this time it would be.
Where you going? Where are you gonna be at?
No card.
What location will you be at?
Like
no reason. You just have a bunch of cash on you.
You gotta not let John Debo know where anyone lives.